Hi, I'm Eric. Welcome to We Do Grammar Points. I'll just talk about one grammar point now, so it doesn't become too complicated. I hope that by watching this video, you can understand the main idea. But of course, to get better at English, you have to practice a lot. Today, I'm going to talk about whom. If you learn how to use pronouns with confidence, you might be able to improve your English, speaking in a way that's easier to understand. But here's something interesting. If you can use pronouns with confidence, you might actually be able to do something that many native speakers cannot do. That's because many native speakers are confused and make a lot of mistakes with one pronoun especially, whom. I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but first, I should tell you what pronouns are. There are subject pronouns, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, and object pronouns, me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. There are possessive pronouns too, but I'll talk about them more in another video. These words are used so we don't have to repeat the name of something too many times. For example, I didn't see your sister last weekend. What happened? My sister didn't come last weekend because my wife hates my sister. That sounds bad. There's too much repetition. I say my sister too many times. So we just replace those words with she and her. I didn't see your sister last weekend. What happened? She didn't come because my wife hates her. And to use the pronouns in English well, you have to understand the basic organization of most English sentences. Maybe you've heard other teachers say SVO. That's what I'm talking about now. My boss ordered a hamburger. S is subject, V is verb, and O is object. But what's really necessary to understand is that the subject does the action. It's the thing or person that does the action. Who ordered the hamburger? My boss. My boss did the action. And the object is what is affected by the action. What was ordered? The hamburger. In normal English sentences, we follow this order, SVO. Now, I told you there are two kinds of pronouns, subject pronouns and object pronouns. Well, of course, object pronouns are used to replace words that are objects. So, in this example, the hamburger becomes it. My boss ordered it. And subject pronouns replace the subject words. So we could say, he ordered a hamburger. This is pretty easy, so it seems like there's not much to think about. But still, it's good to practice. Now, let's talk about whom. Well, whom is the object pronoun for questions. You know the word who, right? Well, who is the subject pronoun that is used when asking a question. I think everybody knows this. The king counts the money. The king is the subject because he's doing the action. And so, if we want to use a pronoun, this sentence becomes, he counts the money. No problem. So, to make this a question, we have to use who. Who counts the money? Here's an interesting conversation. Who saw a shark? Johnny saw one yesterday. A shark ate someone yesterday. Whom did the shark eat? The shark ate Johnny. Looking at the conversation, you can see that there are two questions, and they begin with who and whom. They both are used to ask about people, but who is used to ask about the subject. Who did the action? And whom is used to ask about the object. So we put an M at the end of who to make it the object pronoun. It's similar to the difference between he, which is the subject, and him, which is the object, or they and them. Same thing. Looking at it this way, you can see that sometimes object pronouns end with an M. You wouldn't say, him rides the train to work. This is ridiculous. The subject pronoun is he, so we should say, he rides the train to work. And if you want to ask a question, of course, you should say, who rides the train to work? In that conversation about the shark, we see two actions, see and eat, or rather, saw and ate. The subject that saw is Johnny. Johnny saw. This time, Johnny is the subject, so we say, he saw a shark. Or, if it's a question, who saw a shark? The subject that ate is the shark. The shark ate. This time, Johnny is the object, so we say, the shark ate him. Or, to make it a question, whom did the shark eat? Now, you probably know that most people who speak English will say, who did the shark eat? And if you speak this way or write this way on a test, your teacher may say that's fine. It's okay. It's not wrong. Saying who did the shark eat is kind of correct because most people simply never use whom. Since it's become so normal to use who all the time, whether it's for a subject or an object, it's okay. Most people say it's okay. But now that you know how to use whom, you can do something that many native speakers can't. You can ask this question correctly. Whom did the shark eat? Whom is used when we want to know the object, when the object is a person. I have several ideas about why whom is not used very much in English, or why it's sometimes used incorrectly by many native English speakers. I think the main reason is most people never use whom because it doesn't feel good, and it doesn't sound good. Remember, English follows that strict order I introduced in the beginning, that SVO order, and the subject comes before the verb. He rides the train. Him rides the train sounds terrible, and it makes you feel bad if someone talks that way. But when we make a question in English, we start with the question pronoun. What is making that noise? Who wants ice cream? We're not accustomed to putting the object at the beginning of the sentence, so whom did she call feels strange and awkward for many native speakers, even though that's the correct way to speak. It just feels like objects should come later. So, who did she call feels more comfortable for many people. Also, because it doesn't feel natural for many people, when it is used correctly, the person seems educated. They seem high class. And as a result, whom is thought to be a formal word by many people. It's not a formal word at all, but that's what some people think. In other words, many native speakers believe that whom is a high-class, very formal, proper way of saying who. But this is incorrect. It's a mistake. And this misunderstanding by many native speakers causes them to use it incorrectly. I sometimes hear this kind of sentence. Whom would like some wine? The person saying this doesn't understand the grammar, but just wants to seem high class. They want to appear formal. Maybe they would like to try to speak in an educated way, but they're just making a simple grammar mistake. But still, even though this idea seems simple, there are some expressions that can cause confusion. Me and my brother went to the mall yesterday. In casual speaking, a lot of native speakers of English talk this way. Did you see the mistake? The subject of the sentence should be my brother and I. because we did the action. Me should be used as an object, not as a subject. But it's so common, almost everybody talks this way sometimes, even me. So now, we just continue doing it. You'll hear native speakers say, "Me and him played video games." This is bad grammar, but for some people, it seems normal. So what's the correct way to say these sentences? Me and my brother went to the mall should be, my brother and I went to the mall. And me and him played video games should be, he and I played video games. You see that in both cases, I put I after the other person. This is correct. This is good English. When you include two subjects, and one of them is I, you should say the other one first. She and I, the king and I, my classmates and I, etc. All right, that's it for now. I hope you can understand, and now you may have some basic knowledge that even a lot of native speakers don't. But like I always say, knowledge and practice are different. And if you want to become really good at English, you have to practice a lot. And please, if you hear someone making these mistakes that I just told you about, using whom incorrectly, please tell them to watch this video. Thank you. I'll see you next time.